Despite those nearly 15 years of investigating, the Madison PD says it was never a cold case. And this evening, our Armand Rahman sat down with the police chief who was 4 years into his term when Brittany Zimmermann was killed. Armand?
Eric, that case went unsolved not just for the rest of Noble Wray's time as chief, but for 4 more chiefs after him. He says it could only have been solved because of the work generations of detectives put in and improvements to the 911 system and DNA analysis. So they were too relieved to see justice and closure.
This was personal to not only the community, to the family, but also the Madison Police Department.
When Noble Wray heard Brittany Zimmermann's killer was finally sentenced for his crime.
My thoughts was, for the family, that was first and foremost.
Wray was Madison's police chief from 2004 to 2013, but from 2008 on, the Zimmermann case hung like a shadow unsolved, especially when he'd sit down with Brittany's parents.
And they're looking across you at the table, and they are experiencing extreme hurt, extreme loss. What you want to do is to do something to help resolve some of that. You can't resolve all of it, because they lost their child, and there's nothing that can replace that.
He says at the time his investigators were stretched thin, working on 3 unsolved homicides.
Some of them were literally exhausted at times and were in tears in my office.
But they never gave up.
It was also very difficult because we had a recording of her voice and the struggle, and the community could hear that. And at one point in time, that was played over and over again.
Zimmermann called 911 when someone followed her into her apartment, but the dispatcher said they didn't hear any struggle and hung up.
It was a difficult time. Mistakes were made.
Wray says no one thought it was anything intentional, and they worked hard to make sure nothing like that happened again.
Discussions about adding additional staff. I recall discussions about, everything from, their headsets to removing distractions in the communications center.
MPD investigators now say the Zimmermann case
had us reimagine the Detective Bureau as a whole, more of a specialized unit approach to some of the, like for homicides, for example, and the creation of the violent crime unit.
But Wray says what was most pivotal was the family's support and determination.
But the Zimmermanns never allowed for us to forget, and that was important.
Noble Wray says even after he retired, he stayed up to date with the case and followed the developments through the trial.